Hey NBA fans, and welcome to the first ever episode of Basketball at its Best. For this episode, I'll recap the 2010-2011 regular season and the playoffs. The 2010-2011 season started off with a lot of free agents, and the free agents ended up making more impacts on teams than rookies picked up in the NBA draft. Probably the most wanted free agent was LeBron James, and the King ended up changing some other NBA free agents' decisions. Probably the best example is Carlos Boozer. Boozer went to the Chicago Bulls for $80 million, when he was expected to get $100 million. Why Boozer would go for less money is because, at the time, Boozer thought LeBron would join him on the Bulls roster. Now let's talk about another free agent, Amar'e Stoudemire. After the Knicks gave up on signing Chris Bosh, they turned to Stoudemire, which ended up being a great choice, considering that Stoudemire's numbers were much more impressive than Bosh's this year. Stoudemire exploded in New York, having a long 30 points or more per game streak and helping the Knicks make it to the playoffs. Now, with all the buzz around the free agents, there is still plenty of attention towards the NBA draft. Kentucky ended up being the school to produce the number one draft pick in John Wall, who got picked by the Washington Wizards. All the rookies did pretty well, but the most famous rookies, like John Wall, Blake Griffin, and DeMarcus Cousins, gave their team more highlights than desperately wanted. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the biggest event of the season, Miami's Big Three. Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, and Chris Bosh joined together. LeBron James soon became the villain of the NBA for leaving Cleveland. His old uniform was burned, his reputation was ruined, and overall, his image was tattered. He did well in Miami, putting up big numbers, helping his team reach the NBA Finals, and occasionally quieting his haters' mean comments by his amazing play. But Cleveland fans seem to still haunt him as he could never make a clutch basket. Chris Bosh didn't play as well in Miami as he did in Toronto, as Miami's offense didn't work for him, considering the fact that Miami didn't really have an offense. Miami struggled to hit Bosh at the right block, where in the past he had been dangerous. Miami's roster on paper looked like an unstoppable team, but with three All-Stars on the Heat, Eric Spoelstra failed to come up with an offense that suited them all. Thus, the Heat usually just got to play one-on-one, which got wins against bad teams but losses against good teams. On opening day, Miami Heat will be playing the Boston Celtics, a team of old, experienced, veteran, future Hall of Famers, and a young all-star point guard. The Celtics were, save for their point guard Rajon Rondo, a very old team. But as they easily beat the Heat, they soon became the first Beast of the East of the season. Unlike the Heat, the Celtics didn't have a big three. They had a core four: Rajon Rondo, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and Kevin Garnett. Rajon Rondo ended up leading the league in assists, and with his flashy passes and plays, he was picked as an All-Star reserve. Paul Pierce was the Celtics' leader. He was their closer, and when the game was close, you could be sure that Paul was getting the ball. In 2008, when the Celtics defeated the Los Angeles Lakers in the NBA Finals, Pierce was awarded the Finals MVP. Unsurprisingly, Pierce was chosen as an All-Star reserve. Ray Allen, who had been a star for Seattle, became a much-needed scorer to accompany Pierce. Ray Allen quickly made his mark on the Celtics dynasty. Ray is considered the best three-point shooter in NBA history, as he holds the record for the most made three-point field goals. Kevin Garnett, a Minnesota Timberwolves superstar, immediately helped the Celtics greatly. A great defensive spark and one of the best shooters at his position, Garnett was one of the toughest and respected NBA players.
While the Celtics were lighting up the East, over in the West, the San Antonio Spurs had control.
The San Antonio Spurs, who were coached by Greg Popovich, were made up of experienced and talented future Hall of Famers who stuck to their well-coached offense to get them wins. The Spurs were led by Tim Duncan, a longtime All-Star who had made the All-Star game even when he was a rookie, Manu Ginobili, probably the best at making off-balance shots while making it look easy, and Tony Parker, a speedy player from France who was known for making acrobatic layups. Following these three players' leadership, the Spurs had the best record in the NBA for most of the season.